Hi, I'm Alex Archbold, and I've been buying and selling antiques since I was 9 years old. From basements to scrapyards, I'll look just about anywhere I can to find lost antiques and collectibles. And sometimes I'll go big and buy everything. I never know what's going to happen or who I'm going to meet. This is our life, this is our adventure, and this is Curiosity Inc.
I'm home, honey.
Well, good morning and welcome back to another episode. It is bright and early. Well, I shouldn't say bright and early, but it's early. Patrick's just getting ready inside the motel. We're gearing up for another trip back to the house, which is why I'm doing this video. We made some decent progress yesterday, but there's still so much to do. I am looking forward to next week though, because next week should be the time that we start actually removing stuff from the house and bringing it back to the city. Then we'll see some real progress in terms of emptying the property out. We're gonna go find Patrick, have some breakfast, and then we're gonna get out of here. Yesterday we called for the dumpster to be removed. I don't think I've shown the back. Look how big this place is. It's like when the big spaceship in Star Wars goes by and it just never stops. It's like a giant barn house. Look at this. That's what I'm dealing with. That's what's all full. And they didn't clear the dumpster. Oh man, oh man. Okay, I'll have to give this guy a call and find out what's happening, because we need a dumpster today. Otherwise, otherwise we're gonna run into some trouble. But look who I found. It's Patrick.
Morning.
It's morning, Patrick, with the camera in your face. I'm gonna get it so close it's gonna get intertangled into your beard.
No.
We're gonna have to unbraid my camera out of your beard. Okay, well, let's head inside. I'll phone the dumpster guy. I wish his name was Dan.
Dumpster Dan?
Dumpster Dan, but it's not. Yeah, I'll give him a call. And we'll tear back through this property. Alrighty, going through more boxes. Found a whole basket full of silver spoons. And these appear to be marked that they're actually silver. So that's a good chunk of silver right there. Heavy basket full of silver. This little box is empty, but if you look carefully at the impressions, of course I have to open it to show you. See how it's got a little round circle? That's because this was originally intended for a pocket watch. That's a pocket watch presentation box, or the one that you would have got when you bought a pocket watch. So that will come with. This box might have some treasure, might have some stuff that needs to be donated. You might say it's a double-edged sword. That was a really bad pun. I don't even know why I tried that one. That was terrible. I take it back. Oh, here's a soapstone. It's a wolf. It's not a real carving, but it is a little Inuit statue. Neat. There's another one in there. I know this box has razor blades. Sure. Why not just reach in there with your bare hands? There's a bunch of old pop bottle caps. Lang's root beer. Some of these are probably pretty rare too. Okay, we'll keep those. Part of a tin. Is there anything special? A little tea tin. Elvis left his glasses here, Patrick. You were looking for sunglasses earlier.
Yeah.
Those might even be earlier than 80s.
These are like kids, baby.
I might need that other donate box to come nearby so I can just take from this box and put into it. There's certain things I don't need. Little wooden statues and such. Frog carving. It looks like actually that's a cork, like a bottle stop. Okay, you got that. Got this. And then we'll call it a day here pretty quick, Patrick, because it's getting late. And I don't want to do this anymore.
And our dumpster's full.
And our dumpster's full. And our truck is almost full. Beer steins. Not authentic German beer steins, so off they go. Novelty coffee mugs from back in the day. Okay, that can all be donate. Now I was gonna search the bottom of this box and make sure. Oh, there's a nice old smoking tobacco tin. I know, putting good stuff in the charity pile when, you know, I'm keeping things you probably wouldn't keep. I kind of know my market. At least I like to think I do. Okay, yeah, that box can go in the truck. Looking into the front garage, I've tunneled almost all the way to the back over there. Still a whole corner I haven't dealt with. A lot of the stuff that's in here right now is stuff I got to bring back into town. The desks will get picked up tomorrow. This morning, what I want to do, we've been sort of collecting any loose bottles we've been finding around the house. And we found this giant box full of these little tiny alcohol bottles. And they're all empty. Apparently they can be taken to our bottle depots here. And I think they said they pay 10 cents a bottle. So, you know, I guess we'll see how much. I'm hoping to be able to treat for dinner off of pop bottles and alcohol bottles today. We'll see what happens. But there's another room that's just completely full. Where'd you go, Pat? Patrick disappeared. If you're gonna jump scare me, I'm not gonna be happy. Okay. Where's Patrick? I don't like this. Well, maybe he's just using the washroom and not hiding on me. If this was Melissa here, I would know that she'd be right there around the corner. Oh, where's the light? This room. This room, let me get my light on. Looking into the front garage, I've tunneled almost all the way to the back over there. Still a whole corner I haven't dealt with. A lot of the stuff that's in here right now is stuff I got to bring back into town. The desks will get picked up tomorrow. This morning, what I want to do, we've been sort of collecting any loose bottles we've been finding around the house. And we found this giant box full of these little tiny alcohol bottles. And they're all empty. Apparently they can be taken to our bottle depots here. And I think they said they pay 10 cents a bottle. So, you know, I guess we'll see how much. I'm hoping to be able to treat for dinner off of pop bottles and alcohol bottles today. We'll see what happens. But there's another room that's just completely full. Where'd you go, Pat? Patrick disappeared. If you're gonna jump scare me, I'm not gonna be happy. Okay. Where's Patrick? I don't like this. Well, maybe he's just using the washroom and not hiding on me. If this was Melissa here, I would know that she'd be right there around the corner. Oh, where's the light? This room. This room, let me get my light on. I've actually been waiting to do this room because I have a feeling, because they had some really decent furniture in here, that maybe some of the that maybe some of their better items were stashed and hidden around this area. I'm not sure. It's just a guess. Oh, look, more empty bottles. And that's what I'm really looking for right now, is I'm trying to figure out of their can and bottle collection, which of them are actually resellable and to a collector, and which should just go to the bottle depot. So I'm gonna get back there, and I guess we'll get Patrick to start hauling stuff out to the truck with me, and we'll see what the grand tally is from just pop bottles and alcohol bottles that we find in this place. My kid Jason found this the other day. Apparently he squeezed it there's a little button on the bottom. He pushed the button and it came to life. It is the gopher from Caddyshack. It freaked Jason out a little bit because when it came to life, its head turned and looked at it. I'm not going to push a button because you'll be hearing It's All Right by Kenny Loggins playing super loud, and that'd be copyright strike for me. But you can imagine you boop, push the button and he does his little jig, starts dancing all around and stuff. Surprisingly, after getting freaked out by this thing, Jason looked it up online and found that they sell for $100 on eBay. So I guess we'll throw that at auction and see if anybody bites. Well, maybe, yeah, don't bite an actual gopher. They probably won't like that. But we'll see if anybody takes interest in that. I am going to wiggle my way through here. Oh boy. My foot barely fits through there, let alone all of me. See, there's bottles everywhere. Not every bottle is collectible. Just because it's old or from the past 10, 20 years or whatever doesn't mean that somebody's going to really want it. There's also all these flats of beer cans, and I know that they were collecting them, you know, because it represents a different type of can that they had or whatever, but that doesn't mean that they're going to be worth a whole lot because they're too modern. So if I can get back over there and start pulling some of those flats of cans, the things that are going to be collectible are right here. These are all glass soda bottles, and there's probably about 30 or 40 bottles per box. So you can see that would add up. I would say there's almost close to 1,000 bottles. And then there's boxes of bottles. There's just bottles everywhere. You got Texas Mickeys here. So it's going to take some real work to get this cleared out today. I've got to give myself some room. I think these are just books, though. I might actually just be able to climb on the book boxes. We'll probably end up sifting through those later. But I'm going to try and get back to those beer can flats, see if I can get some of that stuff out of there. Hey, Patrick. The cans I've got boxed up can go in the truck. I am digging my way back there. I don't know if you guys can see, but along that wall right there, those are all modern beer cans, which at, 10 cents a piece is better than just sitting there being garbage. Of course, if there's any vintage or collectible ones, I'll set them aside. But for the most part, I think this person was just quote unquote collecting beer cans, or at least enjoyed the process of emptying them. Because none of those are really super duper old. I have scaled the hoard in this room like a little billy goat. I am up top of all this. See, there's the ceiling. That's how high up I am. My head is touching the ceiling because I'm on top of this stuff. Patrick's somewhere over there. And I'm climbing. Let me show you what I'm climbing for. I thought it was just a row or two of cans up here, but there's rows and rows and rows, but it's smushed between all this stuff, which I don't have anywhere to put right now, and this window. Yes, there's a window here. Some of you might say, well, hey, Alex, why don't you just move all the stuff out of the way? But guess what? There's nowhere to put it because it goes up to the ceiling and all the way to the other wall. I've tunneled to get here. And why am I doing this now? Well, I have a collector coming tomorrow, a friend of mine who's going to buy the collectible bottles and stuff. So I need to sort that, but part of the reason why I'm going through this, but also we're going to hit the bottle depot, like I said. So I'll leave me in my, I'd say I got about a foot of room that I'm wiggling myself through here to get this stuff out. Melissa wouldn't do this. She's definitely claustrophobic, but for me, it's all in the bag. Okay, well, I got a whole bunch of bottles, at least the ones I think are recyclable out of the way. Those are all collectible, hopefully to be sold. Found a fireplace. There was boxes piled all in front of it. So now we wait for the dump bin to come. I was able to get in touch with them. Landon at the dump company said they're going to come this morning, pick up the bin, and I asked them when they come back if they wouldn't mind putting the dump bin on the front driveway where my truck currently is, because then we can just load out through the basement and the garage door and fill it much easier than hauling it all the way around to the back. So he says it should be doable. I'm sure hoping so, but Patrick's in the truck. We're gonna go load up and see what we get from the bottle depot. Well, the bottle depot folks have no idea what's headed their way right now. A truck of wonder and potentially very hard work for them. I imagine, Patrick, that they're like reading, like a Weekly World magazine or like some sort of, like they're just like, like it's Janine from Ghostbusters is working there, and she's just casually minding her own business, and we're gonna pull up with a truck full of stanky old bottles.
In 900 meters,
Sorry, Bottle Depot
turn
person,
left
if you
onto
watch
50
this video
Street.
in the future. Okay, well, there was 485 glass containers, 945 aluminum cans, 111 other bottles, 36 other. So our total came to 163.10. That might not be enough to retire on, but that's definitely going to cover dinner and expenses for the day. Back at the house now, we're going to start loading the truck up with more stuff for charity. That was a lot of stuff. And don't worry, there weren't that many collectible bottles in there. Actually, I don't think really any of them were. They were all just sort of generic modern beer cans from different places. And, you know, no major loss there. But 163 bucks will go a long way for fuel and for food today, so I'm happy for that. We're going to start getting some of the other bottles moved out the door, hopefully on Friday. I have a collector who is a reseller and deals in old bottles and stuff coming. And if I can make a deal on all the bottles, that'll save me having to haul them back in and put them through auction. And most everything else is going to be going up for auction in December through Kastner Auctions, kauctions.ca. So again, if you see other things that you like in this series that we're doing, you can probably find them, or you will be able to find them at auction in December. The bottles, on the other hand, I kind of just want to see those go. So back to work, and what is that? Somebody has left a cryptic message. It looks happy. Is it gang slang? Did we just get marked? You got the fluffy snowman. That means you're getting whacked later. I don't know. Why do they speak like they're like 1950s Italian in this small town in Alberta? But something has happened on our sidewalk since we've been gone. Interesting. With the bottles at the Bottle Depot, it's time for me to tackle this giant mountain that I was climbing on earlier. See, that's where I was, way up there. We're going to start separating stuff out for charity. It would have been great if they had that dumpster emptied and out front where we need it, because I'm going to be coming across stuff that needs to go in the garbage, and there's no garbage right now. So I'll try and pull as much of this stuff for charity as I can, hopefully even more that we can sell, and we'll start getting this all cleaned up. I was trying to find these online. These are actually, these mid-century modern end tables are actually, I think they're Viking or Philco radios. I couldn't find them online, but they're really, really neat. I think those will be kind of cool to get out. Oh, geez, there's a desk there. Okay. All right, Patrick. The sorting begins in this room. I guess we'll just start finding stuff that can go straight to the truck. Starting to go through boxes. The first few were just generic kitchen stuff. There was nothing great, no Pyrex or anything. This box said Christmas, and I looked inside. Another nice ceramic Christmas tree. Again, those are very collectible right now, so it's the perfect time of year. Wow, I almost had another Junkalanch. I'm going to set this one. Actually, maybe, Patrick, we can take this one up and put it in the master bedroom. I'll get this out of the way. Making a dent. Most of the books that are over here are sorted and gone through. Patrick, this is the last load of little books for now. And then we just have some kitchen stuff. I was thinking that because we found so many cassettes, that if they were that into music, at some point they probably had records. And look, I know we found some boxes of records before, but look, records upon records, and a lot of them are in absolutely pristine condition. I mean, it's a miracle this house, I don't mean to jinx us, but it's a miracle this house never burnt down. But that one's, some of these have never even been opened. Like, we look at the conditions this is. I don't know where the heat vents are. I guess they're up in the ceiling, touching boxes. And things aren't going to catch on fire because of the heat. But look, we've got, what if somebody accidentally turned this electric fireplace on with all this stuff piled against it? You know, or the light in the sauna. In fact, it feels like a tinder box right now. That's why it's a little bit dangerous sometimes going through these places, because that's part of that lamp. Because you don't want to hit a switch, turn a light on, and then end up running into some issue where you don't know where the bulb is. Okay, I'm going to start piling more stuff here. The next boxes should be lighter, Patrick. Thank you. Kitchen stuff, off it goes. And I feel like I have a ton of records buried down here. And records can be quite valuable, so that's good news if they're the right ones. It looks like whoever lived here was really into racing maybe back in the 60s. There's all kinds of cool old racing photos in here. The whole book is basically vintage race photos, and that's important for our local community, the race history, for it to be maintained. So I'm going to hang on to these, and these might end up with my friend Matt, who's building up a Alberta Race History Museum. So some neato stuff here. Finding some boxes of old books. Found this one in there. It's the Cop Clark Literature Series. It's Abraham Lincoln, a play. I don't know if that's really in good taste, considering, you know, would you go to a play about a guy who got murdered at a play?
I wouldn't sit in the balcony.
Yeah, don't sit in the balcony. Oh. And I'm not laughing at the fact that a president was murdered. I'm laughing at the fact that somebody did a play about a president who... anyway, you guys get it. Going through this box with Patrick, we've got some little... There might be a matching teacup to go to that. Found one of these nesting hen dishes. It's got a little bit of a chip on it, but it's still worth bringing back. And you gotta go through everything. Is that tomatoware?
Yeah.
50s tomato stuff was popular. They came out with that whole line.
People do.
This feels like it's heavy art glass, like chalet glass. Open that one up, Pat. Just careful in case it has a... Yeah, it's like one of those sculpted 70s glass. Kind of neat. Kind of dirty, but I clean up. Okay, here we go. Antique jeweler scale. Why have a jeweler scale unless you have lots of gold and stuff around? There's a tire pump that you'd hook up to the vacuum system on your car, it looks like. And you'd run it right off your car while your car is running. Kind of interesting old auto accessory. Flags, little Tonka truck. Actually, that's not Tonka. Marks. I was joking about boomerangs earlier, wondering what the return policy is on these. Those things always come back. Ba-dum-dum. Tonette musical fun for everyone. See if that's true later. It's like my most favorite thing in life seems to be tormenting Patrick lately. Probably not his most favorite thing. This looks like an old thermos. Yeah. Disneyland thermos from the 50s. That's pretty neat. I wonder if I'll find the top in there somewhere. Starting to get to a few collectibles in here, which is good. Oh, bag of Hot Wheels. Oh, what I wouldn't give to find a sack full of Redline Hot Wheels right about now. These look a little bit newer. 1980s. There is an old Matchbox truck, though, from the 60s. Part of one. And like holster. Holster for a cap gun. Bunch of toy cars in there. Okay. Tin wind-up duck. See, a lot of people were saying, oh, you're probably... Oh, this is so weird. I'll get back to my thought in a second. It's a corn cob on a bicycle. He does not... He looks like a drunk corn cob. I've been fermenting too long. Ooh. People were saying to me, I bet you wish you had your store, because then you'd have a place for all this. Well, when I had my store, I still wouldn't have had place for all this stuff. That's probably why I... started selling at auction in the first place, is because there was just more than I could handle, and it was really truly time for me to start moving stuff in bulk, and it's a lot easier to do it this way than it is if I were selling out of my shop. Well, that was a long, drawn-out thought. That's because I was doing something else. That's why I'm a terrible multitasker. I ask my wife if I can pay attention and do stuff at the same time. And the answer is not really. What does this one say? Christmas things and extension cords. Well, that doesn't surprise me. Oh, hey. That's kind of cool. That's actually Yeah, look, they paid $80 for it. That's an old tape dispenser from a general store. That's pretty cool. And there's piano player rolls. I think this is all antiques. Yeah, some dolls. Old calendars. What's this? The Army backed up by the Navy. Gosh, that's old. So there's a couple of them there. I say, what, old chap? Picking on the Navy, are we? Oh, what else is in here? Currier and Ives. America. Well, that's a neat book. I've seen that one before. Looks like some advertising signs down there, too. Okay, I gotta look through this box more carefully. Of course, old advertising signs can be quite valuable. That's a replica from 1993. This one actually looks like it might be a little older. And then we've got compliments of Timothy Eaton Company, a big department store that no longer exists. We've got this big panorama of the mid-19th century scenes in full color. Currier and Ives picture book. Beautiful color plates in here. And what did they pay for it? $200. Must have really wanted it. Still a neat piece though. Sorting continues. Look, I found this really cool antique bronze dog lamp, which should have a globe, like a glass shade for it. I'm just gonna stick it in here. Somewhere in here. Sort some of this stuff out of the way. There's probably a globe for that lamp. Or if not, that's okay. You can get them as replicas. Every single little thing has to be open, like a bow tie. Clip-on bow tie, randomly in a case. Oh, Parker pen. No pens, just a box. Fisher-Price puzzle. It's just a bunch of Fisher-Price stuff from back in the day. Kind of neat. The biggest labor so far has certainly been the going through this stuff and making sure that there's not some hidden gem. That's just an empty box. It's been stuck away here somewhere. And we are finding a few interesting things, so that's good. Always good when you can find some collectibles, and even better, we can get some stuff out the door back to charity too, which is the goal of this whole week that we're out here, is to get as much to charity as possible. I have more or less trapped myself. I am wedged in this space. I can see Patrick out there behind me. See him at the truck? Like I said, if I really get stuck, I'll knock on the glass. I'll just have to barrel roll out of here. I'm not making as much progress as quickly as I'd like to, because these boxes are just, it's just so much stuff. That probably shouldn't surprise me at this point, but it never ceases to surprise me, just the quantity, you know, why? So I'm going to see if I can keep peeking back there. I'm tunneling, trying to get some of these little boxes out by the wall. I saw one that was marked old toys, and I thought, oh, that might have some good stuff in it. It did not. But that's not going to stop me from going back there, because every box has something kind of neat in it. So I got to check each and every one. Finding some interesting stuff, some nice antique tins. One of them was still, actually, I was like, oh, look, an antique Planters cocktail peanut tin. And then I shook it. It's still full of antique cocktail peanuts. I have no idea being sealed like this if they'd still even look like peanuts or not, but that's in there. I guess you could say these people put all their chickens in a basket, or all their chickens in one basket. This basket was used for holding chickens. 12 of them at one time. That must have been a whole bunch of fun carrying a basket full of chickens home. Now it just holds nothing, because I emptied it. And I've got to empty the others, and the others, and the others. Let's see if I can get back in there. I've been building boxes. Well, not from scratch. I've been taping them back together. We've been saving all these boxes from around the house that were flattened so we could reuse for hauling stuff away. I'm going to tape up a few more and keep packing. Okay, we get ourselves into another box. Got a picture of the king. Looks like lots of little collectibles in here. More of these tea cards. Whole pile of them. Woods of Windsor, Finding of Soap. Don't really need that. Not that I wouldn't want to smell like Windsor Castle. A whole bunch of old shaving brushes. Really, it's hard understanding why they put this stuff where they did. Those are gramophone needles. Might come in handy. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Is this the original 1950s Planet Robot? Please be in the box. Please be in the box. Oh, I love old tin toys. And look, it's in the box. An original 1950s tin wind-up toy. Not in the greatest of condition, but still, original packaging like that, that could be a few $100s. Perhaps even better. You know what I should do before I seal it up is I should make sure it's made in Japan and not a later replica, because I did make these in China after the fact. This has an awful lot of wear on it. I see a stamp on the bottom. I'm just looking to see if I can see a country of origin on it somewhere. I think the newer ones say made in China really clearly on it, so that's a good sign this doesn't say it. Well, that I believe that is a 1950s tin robot in the box. That's a good find. Actually, that's a good find for me, because I like that stuff. Look, there's another one. There's another little robot dude there too, and he has part of his box. Astronaut with rare. I think it was meant to be with radar. But there we go. Couple old space toys. That's a good start for a box. What else we have going on here? Oh, look. Fountain pen. Nice old fountain pen. It's missing the clip for it, but people's choice. So probably a little lighter. A floaty pen. Be careful what I show. Sometimes you find these pens and it's like a little guy or a little girl and you tip it one way and their clothes go off and on. We found a box of, let's just say, well, I guess I could just say adult magazines. And we considered having a bonfire to get rid of some of this stuff. And then I said to Patrick, well, the thought of us lighting that on fire, and then we don't know if the neighbors are super religious and it's like a flaming naked lady picture blasts against their window of their kid's bedroom. He's like, ah, the devil knows my dirty thoughts. We don't want to leave any scars on people for life because of our choices. It was just a thought. Patrick said there's something wrong with my head, and he's not wrong. I'll say that much, he's not wrong. Okay, there's all sorts of stuff in here. Oh, look. Bag of straight razors and a nice gold razor. Butterfly, gold plated. Well, this whole box is pretty good. How's that box? It's pretty good. Antique picture of a... Oh, you know what I thought that was? I thought that was like a demonic little bear with a wand standing by a tree. Ah, it's a reflection of a boat. Shows how he's like, I want to get you. Nope, it's a boat. I'm sorry, whoever illustrated that. I misunderstood the intention of your drawing. Kind of liking these, oh, there's a big syringe. Yep, and that'll sell. Gosh, I'm gonna have a lot of sorting to when I get this stuff all back. Baseball glove. Yep. How old are these mitts? If they have individual fingers, they're older. Yeah, that's older. The ones that actually look like a mitt, that's a Spalding. It'd be nice if there was like the Joe DiMaggio edition. And you'd be like, awesome. the Jolt and Joe edition lighters. You know, I think I'm almost transferring everything from this box over. Like, this whole box was almost good. And that's been a rarity to find a box of this good stuff. Maybe my instincts were correct that those are advertising shoehorns and bottle openers. People buy them because of what it says. Outdoor Girl olive oil. A little battery powered mixer. Be good for your frappuccinos. And let's see what's in the box. A brush. See, a brush is less exciting than some of the other stuff we've been finding. More bow ties. Oh, that was a whole bag of lighters I just dumped out. Great, now I gotta put them right back in again. Actually, these look like they're lighter parts. Wait a minute, comics. $1 each. Where are the comics? I've been hoping to come across comics this whole time, and I haven't come across a single... I think I found one comic the entire time I'm here. All these boxes of books. I mean, hundreds of boxes of books. There must be... There's gotta be... Right? There's gotta be comics around here somewhere. How could you have this much stuff and not have comics? Does that make sense at all? I don't think it makes sense. What do I know? Okay. Well, that box is just about sorted for the things of which I think I might be able to resell. Getting a nice little box of collectibles there. And I'm going to keep on digging. Oh, remember how we found that soda machine from earlier? That would be the type of glass that you filled it in. It almost has like the liquor control board used to have these lines for marking how much, you know, alcohol you could be served, but that's like maybe how much syrup and how much seltzer. Good, really early Coca-Cola glass, or old Coca-Cola glass. Dishes and plates. I shouldn't say it's a problem because it's not a problem, but almost all of these boxes that are in this corner are all kind of good antiques. You know, antique beer trays, Mickey Mouse cases. I don't know what was in there originally. Shock hazard. There you go. Ah, kids, open this up. Yeah, disconnect supply cord before moving board. So it must have been a game or maybe a record player or something. Oh, you know what? There was a little record player in one of these boxes. It might have gone inside there. Wait a minute. I hear a bee or something floating around in here. Yeah. Went right by my head. Something big is in here with me. Well, let's just ignore that. Hey, Patrick, we might have a little friend in here with us.
Oh, really?
Not a mouse.
No?
No, a bee, because it buzzed me a couple times. But I'm going to be brave and come back here and work on this side, because everything back that way was all good, which means I just need to start loading the truck to take it home. Maybe I can find some things around here that can go, but I don't know. This stuff all looks pretty decent too so far. You know, nice antique lamps. I don't know. I think we're like in the antique store of the house. Every box is full of product for an antique shop. Here's the top of that dispenser, that cooler that's over there on the floor. This goes with, I'm just going to show the folks that. So if you didn't know that, then you might leave that behind and not know they go together. But that's like a 1970s era. Maybe probably early 70s. I don't know why my voice just cracked. When I say 70s, look, antique mirrors. We're getting to some really decent stuff. Patrick, I don't know what to do. Maybe this box marked garage sale will have trinkets and junk that I don't want to bother with. Oh, then again, it's got some antique salt and pepper shakers. I'm at a loss and I need to be productive. Patrick is here waiting on me to find stuff to take to charity. And I'm here just spinning my heels. Okay, that can go to charity. Even I'm sure it's a perfectly good walk. It can walk away. Oh, the dumpster is still not here yet, which is creating a bit of issues because there are things like this dirty blanket and stuff. We just want to get stuff out of here, and we can't because the dumpster is full and they still haven't swapped it out. Maybe I'm gonna see. No, I'm not gonna climb on that. I might have to wait until this furniture gets hauled out of here. Oh, look, there's more furniture over there too. And a box of the boom. There's been a couple neat boom boxes down here. Still haven't found the kid who lived here would have been a little bit older than me. I haven't found all of his toys. That would be fun when I do, but I am gonna get these lampshades off and start looking through some of these boxes. I'm really starting to think these folks were antique dealers. 250 bucks. It says the clock works. Check this out. Michael Jackson Thriller on cassette, still factory sealed from 1982. That's pretty nifty. That'll be a back pocket find while I sort the rest of it. The rest of this box appears to be somewhat garbage. Maybe I can give this to you, Patrick, to put outside so we can get this out of the way. Okay, I've had to leave that room for now because I'm finding too much good stuff. Not a problem, but that's not what the mission is today. I'm trying to go through all these other areas, like this closet in the garage. There's Patrick. Oh, just paper? That's a poster. It's 2001. Well, I guess see what they are. That looks like it's going to be an older one, tied up with string. Blueprints. Probably to this house.
Queen's realm.
Queen's a map of what the Queen owns. I did find boxes and boxes of vintage clothing, like actual vintage clothing. Look at these cool prints and patterns on here. Very 60s, 70s kind of era. And some of them say like retro and stuff. So I'm guessing she's like, well, my old clothes are worth something to somebody, and kept them aside. And she was right. Central vac system. It's not hooked up, but that's what that is. That's a big giant industrial vacuum. And these are leaded glass. Actually taped in between the leaded glass windows looks to be a stained glass church window. There's a big, it's kind of pitched like that, like you'd see on a church window. So some stained and leaded glass. Okay, Patrick, I'm going to move over to this area and see if I can find some more stuff for donation in the garage. Because I am striking out it's like I said, it's really good that I'm finding stuff that I can sell. But it's really bad for what today's supposed to be about. Because I'm hoping to do at least another couple trips to charity, but we might be running out of stuff for charity. And I still have not found this mystery safe that's around somewhere either, but I haven't been everywhere yet. We'll see. Well, one of the reasons why I come to do these sort of clear outs, because you never know what you're going to find. This is a $1,000 oil can. It's William Penn motor oil. It's extremely rare, extremely early. I know it's in not very good shape. If it was in better shape, it'd be like a $3,000 oil can. That is a pricey one. It's got the cap on it. Very early North Star oil, which is quite collectible, Canadian brand. That is, so far, that's the find of the day right there. And I haven't even scratched the surface of what's inside of this bin yet. I mean, there could be even more. Maybe there's more at the bottom. Let's see. I see lots of Tupperware. Honey. Thank goodness they thought to keep that. Oh, let's see. Sweet Clover brand lard. It's good that they kept that, because not many people did, which is why they're worth so much money now. Tons of Tupperware. Tons of Tupperware. Tins. And tobacco tins are like, you know, $10 to $20 each. That's something. It's not as good as pulling a William Penn out of there, I can tell you that much. And there's another oil here. BA, 1950s, British American oil. Good. I rarely find cans like that out in the wild. And truth be told, I would have been very excited to find that William Penn can even if they had it priced at their sale or whatever they were doing with this stuff. There's a ton of cans in the bottom. I might just have to dump this out and sort it out here. It's a heavy box, so I don't know if I can get it out without causing some tippage. We'll see. Nearing the end of another day, I'll show you how much progress we made so far today. Noticeably emptier. It's kind of laughable when I say that and then I look at the camera at what I'm looking at. But you can see the windows now in this room. That's better than you could before. It'll be much easier to get to this furniture that's back here. You can actually see it. This nice chair and the table, and its legs are down there. There's another table I didn't even know we had. More tables back there. The really fancy chair with the claw arms on it that I haven't really dug out yet. Found one of those old wood console sort of TVs, you know, when you thought your television should look like it's made out of wood. Well, this is pretty fancy wood you have. You can actually see a moving picture on it. Tomorrow, I'm going to have to come back. Well, I guess the furniture is going tomorrow. So when they get this stuff out of the way, I can sort some of this stuff over there to access all those, which are antique glass soda bottles. And that's what I have a collector coming for on Friday. And hopefully those will go. And I apologize to those of you that would have liked to have bought them at auction. There will be some going through auction. You know, we have a few and some boxes that will be going through, but that's too much quantity for me to put through all at once at a sale. So hopefully it will go. As for me, I'm going to go get Patrick, load up in the truck, and call it a day here at Ye Old House. So thanks for watching today's episode, guys. There's still closets with vintage furniture. There's still somewhere in this house, there's that safe, which we were told about and we still haven't been able to find. I'm poking my head in this room for the first time, the laundry room, which surprisingly looks like you can access the laundry machines. There's cobwebs all over the place in here. But there are more boxes, of course, in here. Oh no, what do we have? Old jugs, fancy bottles, old bottles. Jugs and bottles. Hudson Bay Crocs, 7 of them. Well, those could be good. Well, I guess more stuff than I would ever need in my life, and more than these people ever needed in theirs. But we'll continue on, press forward, and make this hoard disappear. So thanks again for watching today's episode, guys. Stay tuned for more. Make sure to subscribe if you haven't already so you can get the updates when the new updates come out. And I can't wait to show the walkthrough, hopefully at some point, showing all this stuff gone from all the various places that it is. I am going to call it a night here, guys. So thanks for watching. We'll see y'all soon, and bye for now.